The Tang Dynasty falls apart. Several rebel groups emerge, each vying for control. A police officer briefs his subordinate about intelligence they've gathered. One of the showgirls performing at the Peony Pavilion belongs to a dangerous rebel group known as the Flying Daggers. They bring her in. This young woman has a breathtaking beauty and shows courage, yet she appears to be blind. The officer, clearly intoxicated yet suspicious, tests her blindness by drawing a razor-sharp sword dangerously close to her cheeks, but she doesn't even flinch. Soon she begins to dance and sing like she is in her kingdom. She captivates the young officer with her beauty and presence. Before long, he attempts to force himself upon her in full view of everyone. The captain arrives immediately and orders his arrest. He turns his attention to the showgirl, ready to arrest her as well, but a woman pleads for mercy on her behalf. Pay close attention to these three central figures, as this movie is full of twists and deep meaning. The senior captain then tells her to give her best performance in exchange for her freedom. The challenge ignites something within her. She sets the stage on fire with movement, her body flowing with every musical beat, as if she owns not just the stage, but time itself. Yet something in the way the captain watches her tells a different story, his eyes holding secrets that we will soon find out. Then suddenly, when no one pays attention, she grabs a sword to stab the captain, but he dodges with expert precision. Panic spreads through the crowd as people scatter for safety. The captain, who goes by the name Leo, engages the blind girl in combat, being gentle with her. He defeats her with calculated restraint and places her under arrest, binding her neck with a slave yoke. Something in the way his hands roam around her, something that hints at a very deep secret we do not yet know. But a surprising turn of events will make you question the captain even more. He plans to free her, and to do that, there is no other perfect man for the job than his friend, Jin. Jin likes to flirt with girls and will do the job perfectly. Leo outlines his strategy, but Jin asks him to turn her over to the government to punish her. Leo convinces him that this approach will serve a greater purpose, infiltrating the elusive Flying Daggers to uncover their hidden stronghold and claim their reward. Jin's mission appears simple: earn the girl's trust by helping her escape, make her fall deeply in love by saving her life, and gradually extract information about their secret headquarters. But Leo warns him never to fall in love. Under cover of darkness, Jin defeats the guards and breaks Mei out of prison, immediately gaining her trust. The pair begins their journey toward the Flying Dagger headquarters, while Leo maintains a careful distance behind them, with more soldiers positioned strategically throughout their route. They escape into the dense forest, where trees create a canopy that blocks some sunlight. Jin places her hand on the shelf, guiding her steps through the rough terrain. She wants to know who he is and why he helps her, and tells him she is the daughter of the old leader of the Flying Daggers, who people believe to be dead. He gives her the weapons, the signature daggers that give the rebel group its fearsome name. She has other questions, like how he suddenly chooses to walk instead of using two healthy horses. He said it is to avoid horse tracks and loud sound. From Jin's perspective, she appears to be blind, yet looks suspicious and full of secrets. When he guides her hand to his face so she can feel his features, she insists on starting with his arms instead, noting his strength as a strong shooter and a handsome man. Soldiers sent to find them approach, and they flee deeper into the forest, but Mei loses her daggers, which seems like a deliberate act. To her surprise, Jin goes back to get them. In the distance, the camera reveals one of their abandoned horses carrying a rider, most likely Officer Leo, carefully following them. Jin locates her lost dagger, but she is already being chased by the enemies sent to kill her. Despite her blindness, she fights with extraordinary skill and determination, matching all four attackers through sheer martial arts. With long spears in hand, they force her down, preparing to strike the finishing blow. Jin arrives, his archery skills on full display as he places each arrow with surgical precision exactly where he wants them. Jin works as a spy here, with his own tough and tricky job to win her trust and meet her fellow rebels. He must learn their secrets and position them for capture, earning his bounty. Back at the scene, the soldiers wake up like nothing happens. Everything goes as normal and everyone plays their roles well. Later, he takes her to a small stream and gives her his clothes to change into. He tells her he will be away until she finishes her bath. As Mei takes his bath, Jin hides himself behind a nearby tree to secretly watch her. She senses his presence and calls him out. He asks her how she knew, but she gives him a puzzling response. This moment represents another missed opportunity for Jin to recognize that this blind girl might not be really blind, and that she could be playing a far more dangerous game than he realizes. She looks charming in men's clothing. As they spend more time together, a genuine bond begins to form between them. For Mei, she finds herself drawn to his straightforward nature and unaffected charm. Jin becomes increasingly fascinated by her beauty, and perhaps by the fact that she is blind, relying on him for safety. What happens next will make you question the plot. During a romantic moment, Mei clearly observes someone moving in the shadows, watching them from a hidden position. Instead of raising an alarm or alerting Jin to the potential danger, she simply stops their intimate moment, leaving Jin to wonder in confused silence about her sudden change in mood. The following morning, while Mei sleeps deeply, Jin quietly slips away to meet with Leo at their meeting point. Leo tells him that the chase game is over. He asks about any intelligence Jin has managed to extract from the blind girl during their time together. However, Leo worries more about something different, and that is Jin and Mei falling in love. This revelation suggests that the figure Mei spotted in the shadows was indeed Leo. What hidden connection exists between Leo and Mei? Before Jin leaves, Leo issues another stern warning about falling in love and destroying their carefully constructed plan. The plan remains clear: make her fall in love, gain access to her rebel organization, deliver them to the government, and secure their promotions and rewards. It's all lies and games. Let's see how the following scenes will reveal that. They approach a vast field of wildflowers stretching toward the horizon, their colors creating a natural tapestry. Mei immediately starts caressing the flowers. She reminds Jin of his promise to bring her to places where real flowers bloom. Her words trigger his memory, and he rises eagerly to gather a bouquet for her enjoyment. She likes his energy and genuine nature, but she harbors her own hidden agenda that will soon become clear. Almost immediately, fierce soldiers emerge from nowhere and advance toward them with brutality. Jin experiences confusion and alarm. Just moments ago, Leo assured him that no more fake soldiers would be deployed in their operation. Still believing this is part of their elaborate charade, Jin moves toward the attacking soldiers, giving them signals to cease their assault. They ignore his gestures completely and attack with brutal force, wounding him severely and shattering his understanding of the situation. Mei responds, throwing 2 daggers that find their marks and kill 2 soldiers instantly. When her 3rd dagger fails to connect, she fights with her spears instead, her martial arts skills nearly matching the prowess of 4 strong soldiers. The situation deteriorates rapidly when they destroy her weapon, forcing her to retreat while Jin follows up with arrows that, this time, are intended to kill. Jin demonstrates his exceptional archery abilities by expertly killing a particularly formidable soldier with a cunning shot that shows natural talent. Seeing that her fighting stick has been cut in half, he rushes to her aid and offers her his sword. Soon they are surrounded by more brutal soldiers. As they realize they have no chance, they try to run away instead of fighting a battle they can't win. Their strengths are running out, and they have to defend their lives. For Jin, what began as a fake show with a stranger has transformed into a desperate fight for survival. Just as the end comes for both of them, a dagger flies from nowhere, striking down most of their attackers and providing enough breathing room for them to eliminate the remaining threats. But it's not over yet. They both wonder about the identity of their mysterious savior. Jin asks if the intervention came from her Flying Daggers allies, but when Mei examines the weapon, she appears genuinely uncertain about its origin. However, her expression suggests she might know who has such throwing accuracy. This we will also find out before the movie ends. They feel utterly defeated, helpless, and without hope for escape from the ugly situation. Mei holds Jin tightly, offering comfort in their darkest moment. The hardships they have endured together serve to strengthen their emotional bond. She willingly gives herself to him completely, seeking to soothe his wounded spirit through physical intimacy. Yet Jin finds no peace in this gesture. He yearns for freedom, seeing that this outcome differs drastically from what he originally agreed to undertake. She asks him to leave, but Jin refuses to abandon her, determined to see their story through to whatever end awaits them. His response brings tears to the blind girl's eyes as she recognizes the tragedy that their choices have set in motion. At a secret meeting, Jin confronts Leo about why real soldiers have become involved in their operation. Leo explains that military forces have officially entered the fold and wants Jin and Mei dead at all cost. This revelation represents a crucial element of Leo's grand design from the very beginning of their scheme. Jin expresses his concern about their deadly predicament, but Leo demonstrates even greater regret and emotional turmoil. Something deeper than professional duty is causing him pain. Leo is a spy who actually knows Mei, the blind girl. In fact, she is his fiancée, making everything part of an elaborate plan that will reveal itself soon. Despite his emotional conflict, Leo informs Jin that he must prepare for additional soldiers. He offers Jin his personal bow as a defensive weapon. But Jin rejects the gift and flees the meeting in agony. When Jin returns to Mei, tension fills the air as they both think about their life. An argument erupts, and Mei lashes out at him with cruelty, asking him to go and leave her alone permanently. She prepares her horse for departure, making it clear that she intends to disappear forever. This decision appears to be the wisest course of action available to them. Mei obviously knows far more than being a blind in a forest with a naive captain willing to foolishly die for her sake. She leaves despite him insisting for her to stay. Jin prepares his own horse, torn between following a stranger from a failed mission and returning to the safety of his military base. Initially, he chooses to leave. As Mei wanders alone through the thick forest, she already misses an essential part of her life. Meanwhile, Jin stops suddenly on his journey, changes his mind, and begins following her trail, riding with relentless determination because he understands that every moment away from her increases her danger. But soldiers are already on their trail. Mei dismounts to rest briefly, but soldiers on the bamboo trees launch a surprise attack, this time determined to end her life. She fights back with impressive skill, but cannot overcome their superior numbers. They surround her completely, preparing to deliver the killing blow just as Jin arrives to rescue her once again. In a bid to reduce the attack and create an escape route, Jin cuts down bamboo trees to block their attackers' movement. However, some soldiers have already climbed above their makeshift barrier. Jin intercepts an attack aimed directly at Mei's neck, his intervention saving her life by mere inches. They reach a critical juncture when soldiers trap them using multiple bamboo branches as weapons and barriers. At this crucial moment, the House of Flying Daggers saves them with their trademark dangerous daggers and escorts them to the rebel headquarters. Jin recognizes the leader from their previous encounter at the Peony Pavilion. The rebels provide him with a grand welcome and inquire about his feelings toward Mei. The leader even suggests an immediate marriage ceremony, with herself serving as the officiant. Although Jin finds the offer suspiciously quick and his confusion grows, he accepts the proposal to marry Mei. Everything proceeds at an unnaturally rapid pace. And just as he begins to wonder about the true nature of these events, they capture him in a net and bind him securely. Jin demands an explanation for their actions, but almost immediately, guards drag in a similarly bound Leo. Leo's expression remains calm and composed while Jin appears lost and deeply confused. In a shocking moment, Mei enters the scene, grasps a water jug, and as she pours water for Nia, he discovers the truth. She is not actually blind. The revelation leaves everything feeling surreal, and he wonders if he might be trapped in a long dream. Every deception and lie points toward Leo as the mastermind, a secret agent who also serves as a member of the Flying Daggers, sent to lure the government into a war they cannot win, with Jin serving as the handsome scapegoat. However, complications arise because Mei has genuinely fallen in love with Jin, and witnessing his confused and vulnerable condition causes her silent, emotional pain. Guards escort Leo away to a private location where they release him from his bonds. Nia thanks him for executing his assignment with careful precision, and he reveals crucial intelligence about the government's military preparations. The Flying Daggers are not afraid of the approaching military forces and actually looking forward to an open battle. Liu and Mei are engaged to be married. They meet officially after being apart for 3 long years. While Liu shows happiness and excitement about their reunion, Mei appears more reserved and emotionally distant. They attempt to rekindle their romantic relationship, but Mei no longer commits herself fully to their engagement. Her thoughts clearly drift to Jin, who has already captured her heart during their brief but intense time together in the thick forest. Liu asks whether she has fallen in love with Jin, but Mei provides no response, obviously afraid to voice the truth. He attempts to force her, but she resists him, just as their actual leader, who has remained in hiding, sends a dagger into Liu's back as a warning, and assigns him a new mission to separate them. She warns him against removing the dagger from his back, explaining that he will appear more convincing and maintain better cover with the weapon still in his flesh. The way Liu looks at Mei before departing reveals sinister intentions for revenge. He asks her bitterly how she could exchange 3 entire years of their relationship for 3 days spent with a complete stranger. The leader then assigns Mei another task, one that will test her loyalty and resolve. She must take Jin to a remote location and execute him, as he no longer serves any useful purpose in their larger strategy. Mei leads a blindfolded Jin deep into the most isolated section of the forest. Instead of carrying out her assassination orders, she removes his restraints and sets him free. They immediately engage in steamy romance, as if their body would burn if they don't. Once again, Mei asks Jin to leave and save himself, but he wants her to accompany him. He proposes that they run away together, escaping from all the people and organizations that know them, and seek to use them for their own purposes. As Jin prepares for departure, he tells her that they are being used by the opposing sides to achieve their aim. He rides away at full speed, but then stops abruptly, as if pulled back by an invisible force stronger than his rational mind. Meanwhile, Mei wrestles with an impossible choice: pursue love or stay back to fight the approaching government soldiers alongside her rebel comrades. In a moment of decision, she makes the dangerous choice to follow her heart. She sets off in pursuit of Jin across the open landscape. From his concealed position, Liu launches a dagger with deadly accuracy, targeting her as she rides. She manages to deflect the immediate threat, not realizing that the weapon carries a second danger. The dagger strikes her chest, inflicting a severe wound that sends her dropping from her horse. As she writhes in agony on the ground, the heartbroken Liu emerges from his hiding place, clearly having waited in the forest for the perfect moment to exact his revenge. He demands to know why she chose to follow Jin, declaring that despite everything, he still loves her. But she has brought this suffering upon herself through her betrayal. On the other side of the field, Jin returns to search for Mei, only to discover her dying on the lonely plain. Liu attacks him immediately. Jin deflects the strike at the last possible second. A rage-filled Liu fights with murderous intent, but Jin recovers quickly and matches his opponent's skill with ease. Jin learns that Liu is a hidden member of the Flying Daggers, and that he is Mei's true lover. Liu confesses that Jin bears responsibility for Mei's death because he failed to follow instructions. They engage in combat again, this time with fierce determination to destroy each other without mercy or restraint. As their battle rages, government soldiers approach the area to engage the rebel forces in the larger conflict. Heavy snow begins to fall, creating a white curtain across the landscape. Mei struggles to maintain consciousness despite her severe injuries. 2 former friends turned bitter enemies fight with aggressive intensity, drawing blood from every part of their bodies as they roll through the cold snow that grows deeper with each passing moment. Although they appear evenly matched in skill, the strengthening snowfall and their accumulated injuries gradually weakens them. Liu, recognizing that their fight has reached a stalemate, draws the dagger from his own wound, preparing to use it as a final weapon against Jin. Mei, despite her fatal injuries, manages to stand and demands that Liu refrain from using the dagger against Jin. She threatens to kill Liu with the blade stuck in her own chest, but Jin protests because he knows that removing the blade will cause blood loss and hasten her death. Through these terrible events, true love is tested to the core, and the path which love has chosen becomes tragically predictable. Jin drops his sword and moves toward Mei, positioning himself to save her should Liu choose to throw his dagger. In a moment of deception, Liu feints throwing his weapon, and Mei responds by hurling her own dagger in return. The blade flies through the air, cutting through a line of crimson blood before finding its mark. She collapses to her death on the snow-soaked battlefield while heartbroken Jin cradles her body, crying uncontrollably in his grief. Liu drops his dagger, tears streaming down his face, and staggers away into the unknown wilderness. The movie ends with Jin singing for unconscious Mei.